Ships came and went. People from many planets walked in every direction. Some wore long coats. Others wore shiny armor. Traders shouted about their goods robots, food, rare minerals, even old Earth books. Lights blinked everywhere, and strange smells filled the air. But in the corner of Market Row, where the crowd was thinner, sat a quiet alien girl. Her name was Iria. She sat on a flat piece of metal with her back against the cold station wall. She had a thin, purple-gray skin tone, large dark eyes, and short white hair that had not been washed in many days. Her left leg was gone from the knee down. In its place was only a bandaged stump, wrapped carefully but worn from time. Next to her, a small sign written in shaky letters read, "Will work for prosthetic leg." Many walked by. Some looked, then turned their eyes away. Others laughed quietly or whispered things Iria couldn't hear, but she knew what they were saying. She had been sitting there for 3 weeks. No one ever stopped to help. Long ago, her people, the Terriani, had fought in the Great Border Wars. Iria was just a child back then, but the humans and many other species still didn't trust the Terriani. Even though the war was over and peace had returned, the pain had stayed in people's hearts. So when Arya asked for help, no one listened until he came. His name was Callan Ward, a human engineer, young, maybe 25 years old. He wore a brown work jacket with many pockets and a tool belt full of small devices. His hands were rough from years of building machines. He walked through Market Row that day just looking for spare parts. But then he saw her. He stopped. Iria looked up, surprised. Most people never stopped. She stared at him with careful eyes. Was he another person who would just ask rude questions or walk away? Callan read the sign. He didn't laugh. He didn't frown. He just crouched down slowly so he was at her level. "What happened to your leg?" he asked softly. Iria looked away. "An old landmine on my home moon. I was helping my mother collect metal." Callan nodded like he understood. "Want a prosthetic?" "Yes," she said quietly. "Even a simple one. It's just so I can stand. Work. Live like before." "Why sell yourself?" he asked. She lowered her eyes. "No one hires broken aliens." Callan was quiet. Then he stood up. "Come with me." Iria's eyes widened. "Why?" "I have a workshop," he said. "I can build you a leg. You don't need to sell yourself. You would help." "Just like that? Want to?" Callan said. "You deserve to walk again." Many traders and aliens nearby saw the moment. Some whispered. One merchant laughed and shook his head. "Humans are fools, helping the enemy. Waste of time." Callan ignored them. He reached out his hand. Iria hesitated. Then slowly she took it. Callan's workshop was small but full of energy. It sat at the edge of the lower dock levels, where things were quieter. Inside, the air smelled like metal and machine oil. Pieces of drones, tools, and old tech parts covered every table. A small glowing screen showed a leg design spinning slowly. "This is my place," Callan said with a smile. "It's not fancy, but I build good things here." Iria looked around. She had never seen so many machines up close. Her eyes were full of curiosity. "Sit there." Callan pointed to a soft chair. "Let me scan your leg. I need measurements." She nodded and sat. As Callan worked, scanning her stump and taking notes, Iria looked at the tools on the walls. "Why are you helping me?" she asked again. Callan paused. "Because you asked for help? I saw you?" "That's enough." Iria said nothing, but her eyes became wet. She quickly wiped them before he noticed. That night, Iria slept on a clean mat in the workshop corner. Callan gave her a soft blanket and a warm drink. It was the first time in months she had slept in safety. Outside, in the far corner of the market, her sign still sat on the ground, but it was empty now. The next morning, soft light from the small lamp filled the workshop. Machines blinked gently. Iria woke up, warm and safe under the blanket Callan had given her. For the first time in weeks, she had slept without fear. Callan was already awake. He stood near the workbench, carefully drawing shapes on a digital screen. "Good morning," he said when he saw her. "Morning," Arya said, sitting up slowly. She stretched her arms and rubbed her tired eyes. "I started designing your leg," Callan said. "But I need your help. You know your body better than I do." Arya smiled a little. "Okay. What do I do?" Callan showed her the sketch. It was simple, but strong.
Ow.
The leg would be metal with a soft joint for movement. It wouldn't look like a real leg, but it would help her walk again. "I can make it." "In 3 days," Callan said. "It's maybe 4 if I can't find the right parts." Arya looked at him with wonder. "You're really going to do this?" "For me?" He nodded. "Yes." She lowered her head. "Why?" Callan wiped his hands with a cloth. "You remind me of someone?" "My sister. She lost her hearing in a factory fire. Everyone gave up on her. But she didn't give up on herself." Arya looked at him. "What happened to her?" "She learned to build with her hands," Callan said. "Now she runs her own repair station on Mars." "That's amazing." Callan smiled. "I think you can be amazing too." While Callan worked on the leg, Arya cleaned the workshop. She liked being useful. She swept the floor, organized tools, and helped hold parts while Callan built. One afternoon, she noticed a small drone on the shelf. It was old, dusty, and broken. "Did you build this?" she asked. "Yes," Callan said. "My first drone. It flew for 6 seconds before crashing." Arya laughed. "It looks like it wants to fly again." Callan smiled. "Maybe you can fix it." Arya took it gently. Her fingers moved carefully. She opened the panel and looked inside. Wires, gears, and a small engine, old, but not useless. "Try," she said. News of Arya's stay with Callan began to spread across the station. Some people were curious. Others were angry. In the food court, a large trader named Goric asked loudly, "Did you hear? That human is helping a Turyani girl." His friend replied, "They were enemies once. Now he brings her into his home." A few nodded in agreement. "Maybe he's planning something," another one said. "Humans don't help for free." They didn't understand, but Callan didn't care what they said. That night, Arya worked on the drone, while Callan sorted parts for the leg. The workshop felt like a quiet home, warm, full of soft lights and the sound of gentle tools. "You're good with machines," Callan said. Arya nodded. "Yeah. I used to help my father. He fixed flying bikes on our moon. Maybe one day you can build your own." Arya looked up. "I'd like that." On the 3rd day, the leg was ready. Callan brought. It toured with careful hands. It was silver gray with a black joint at the knee and a soft rubber foot. "It's not perfect," he said, "but it will help you walk." Arya reached out and touched it. It felt real, solid. Her eyes filled with tears. "Thank you," she whispered. "Let's put it on." Callan said gently. Fitting the leg was hard. Arya gritted her teeth as the straps were tightened. Her balance was weak. She held onto Callan's arm as she stood up. Her first step was shaky. She almost fell. Callan caught her. "It's okay," he said. "Try again." She took another step, then another. Her breathing was heavy, but she didn't stop. Slowly, step by step, she crossed the room. She was walking, for the first time in years. Arya sat down and cried quietly, not because she was sad, but because she was standing. Callan sat beside her. He didn't speak, just smiled. Later that evening, as Arya rested, a loud sound echoed outside the workshop. Crash. A rock had smashed through the front window. Callan rushed outside. He looked around, but no one was there. Shadows and silence. Arya came to the doorway, leaning on her new leg. "What happened?" Callan picked up the rock. "Someone threw. This because of me?" "Because they're afraid," Callan said. "You're proving them wrong." The next day, Arya asked, "What do I owe you?" Callan shook his head. "Nothing. But everyone wants something she said. I don't, Callan replied. I just want you to walk, to dream again. Arya looked down at her new leg. You didn't just help me walk. You helped me believe again. Callan smiled. That's what humans do best. We help when no one else will. From that day forward, Arya stayed at the workshop. She walked slowly, but she walked with pride. Each step was a sign of hope, new beginning. The deal, Callan made the deal no one understood. It's not built on money or power. It was built on kindness, and that made it stronger than anything else in the galaxy. Arya stood in front of the long mirror in Callan's workshop. Her new leg metal and smooth shined under the warm light. It was not like her real leg. It didn't feel natural yet, but it was hers. She touched it slowly and carefully, feeling the strong surface. Ready to try again? Callan asked, standing a few steps behind her. Arya nodded. She gripped the wooden rail Callan had installed across the wall. With her hands holding it, she lifted herself up. The new leg touched the floor. She took a slow step, then another. It was hard. Her balance was still weak. The metal leg moved differently than she expected. Sometimes it locked at the wrong time. Sometimes it felt too loose. Once, she almost fell, but Callan was always nearby, ready to catch her. But she didn't give up. Each morning, Arya practiced walking. She went from one side of the room to the other. She used the rail at first, then a walking stick. At night, her body ached, but her heart was stronger. You're improving every day, Callan said. Watching her, it still feels strange, she replied, but I want to walk without help. You will, he said with a smile. Just keep going. On the 5th day, something special happened. Arya walked across the workshop without the stick. She was slow, careful, but she made it. Callan clapped from his workbench. You did it, he said. Arya smiled with tears in her eyes. I'm walking. You're not just walking, Callan said. You're standing tall. That evening, as she sat beside Callan, Arya asked, What do you dream about? Callan leaned back in his chair. I dream about building something that helps others, not just for money or fame, something that really matters. Arya looked down at her leg. You already did. He smiled. Then maybe we're just getting started. The next morning, Arya noticed a box in the corner of the workshop. Inside it were drone parts, wings, engines, wires, broken shells. Are these all broken? She asked. Most of them, Callan said. Old models. Some I bought. Some are just left behind. Can I try fixing one? Of course, Callan replied. Pick whichever one you like. Arya chose a small blue drone with bent wings. It was dusty and missing a motor, but she liked its shape. It reminded her of the flyers her father used to build. She sat at the table, opened the drone, and studied it carefully. Her fingers moved with skill. She didn't need to ask Callan for help. She just needed time. As days passed, she worked during the mornings on walking and during the afternoons on the drone. Sometimes Callan watched her from across the room, amazed by her focus. You know, he said one day, you think like a pilot. Arya looked up. What do you mean? You see the sky and machines? He said. Not everyone does. She smiled. Flying was my dream. Before the war, it still can be, he said. Dreams don't end. They wait. By the end of the week, the drone's engine was fixed. The wings were strong again. Arya painted a small white star on the side. Let's test it, Callan said. They went up to the open platform on the roof of the workshop. The space station's sky was full of stars and tiny ships passing by. Arya placed the drone gently. On the ground, she held the small controller in her hand. Her heart beat fast. Are you ready? Callan asked. She nodded. With a soft click, the drone's engine started. It rose slowly, then flew. It looped once, twice, and made a clean circle over their heads. It works, Arya shouted, laughing. Callan clapped. You brought it back to life? Arya's eyes sparkled. Maybe I can build something better. Believe. You can. Later that day, a tall alien trader named Voker passed by their workshop. He had seen the drone in the sky. I saw the flight, he said to Callan. Was that yours? Callan shook his head. She built it. He pointed to Arya. Vokar's face changed. Her. She's a Tyriani. She's also an engineer. Callan replied. Vokar scoffed. I don't do business with broken war leftovers. And he walked away. Arya stood silent. Callan turned to her. Don't listen to him. He's not the only one who thinks like that, Arya said softly. No, Callan said. But their voices don't decide your future. You do. That night, Callan brought a box of fresh parts to Arya's table. What's this? She asked. A challenge, he said. Let's build something together. Something new. Something that flies better than anything in this station. Arya's eyes lit up. Like a new drone. Better than a drone, he said.
Not a Skyrunner?
What's a Skyrunner? We'll make it, Callan said, smiling. Together, they began drawing ideas on the screen. Arya talked about smooth wings, fast engines, and balanced controls. Callan added fuel cells and smart sensors. They worked late into the night, 2 minds. One dream, outside the workshop. Some still judged, but inside. Something beautiful was growing. A broken alien girl was building a future with a kind human, and their ideas were ready to fly. The workshop was alive with sound. Tools buzzed, wires sparked, and digital screens showed blueprints filled with curves and symbols. Arya and Callan worked side by side, their hands moving with skill and purpose. They were building something new. Not just a drone, not just a machine. They were building a Skyrunner of fast, smart flying craft designed to go farther and faster than anything sold on the station. Let's make the wings thinner, Arya said one morning. It'll reduce air resistance, Callan raised an eyebrow. It might make it less stable. Not if we balance it here, she said, pointing to a small part in the middle. Add a low-weight gyro system. Callan smiled. Really? No flight? Arya nodded slowly. It's the only thing that makes me feel free. For days, they built and tested. Arya's ideas were clever. She saw small details others missed. Callan helped turn her thoughts into real parts. They used spare materials from old drones, metal plates from storage bins, and wires that had been sitting unused for years, bit by bit. Their Skyrunner took shape. They named it Silver Light. It was small and sharp, with long wings that bent slightly, upward like a bird ready to soar. Its body was smooth and silver with blue lines running across it. It looked fast even when sitting still. People started noticing one afternoon. A young mechanic from the next shop peeked in. What is that? He asked. A Skyrunner, Arya said. You built that? He asked, surprised. We did, Callan replied proudly. The boy stared in silence for a moment. Then he whispered, Looks better than anything I've seen here. But not everyone was impressed. A rich merchant named Dorn Valax, who sold flying machines, came by the next day. He had a long coat, shiny boots, and 2 guards with him. He saw the silver light and frowned. You're building ships now? Dorn asked Callan. Yes, Callan replied. Dorn pointed at Arya. With her? Yes, Callan said again, calmly. Dorn laughed. No one will buy anything touched by a Tyriani. Arya stayed quiet. Callan stepped forward. Then we'll fly it ourselves. And when people see how good it is, they'll want it. Dorn smirked. We'll see. And he walked away. That evening, Arya sat alone, looking at the stars outside the window. Callan came and sat next to her. He handed her a warm cup of tea. You okay? He asked. Arya took a slow sip before answering. Why do they hate me? So much Callan didn't answer right away. Then he said, People fear what they don't understand. But hate is not stronger than hope. Arya looked at her leg, then at her hands, both once broken, now creating something new. I want to show them I'm not weak, she said. You already are, Callan replied. You're proving it every day. 2 days later, Callan had an idea. There's a race coming up, he said. The Open Skies Challenge. Arya looked up. A race? Yes. Every few months, small shipbuilders test their best designs in the sky. It's not about money. It's about proving who can fly better. Can we enter? I think we must, Callan said. They signed up under the name Warderia Dynamics. Many people laughed when they saw the name. Some whispered again, "That's the human helping the Terriani girl." Others just ignored them. But Callan and Iria didn't stop. They spent the next few days fine-tuning Silver Light. They checked every wire, every wing bolt, every engine spark. Iria even added a special wind balance sensor of her own design. Wasn't fancy, but it worked perfectly. "We're ready," she said on the night before the race. Callan looked at her proudly. "Yes. And tomorrow, they'll see who you really are." Race day arrived. The Skytrack was built high in the upper air of the station, where gravity was lighter and the view showed distant stars. Many teams stood next to their flying machines, some large, some sleek, all expensive-looking. Silver Light looked smaller but sharp and ready. Iria stood at the edge, holding the controller. "You'll pilot." Someone asked from another team. "Yes," she replied firmly. They laughed. "Don't cry when it crashes." But Iria didn't answer. She focused. The race began with a loud horn. All the Skyrunners launched into the air. Silver Light shot forward like a beam of light. Iria's hands moved fast but steady. She guided the ship through turns, over clouds, and past checkpoints. Her heart pounded, but her mind was calm. Halfway through the race, another team tried to block them. Their ship came too close, dash intentionally. It was dangerous. Iria stayed focused. She turned sharply and dived low, slipping under a support beam and avoiding the block. People in the crowd gasped. "She's fast," someone whispered. "She knows what she's doing." Silver Light didn't win first place. They came in third, but it was enough. Crowds gathered around them afterward. Mechanics, traders, even pilots. "Where did you get this design?" one asked. "She made it," Callan said, pointing to Iria. The crowd was quiet, then someone clapped, then another soon. Many were clapping, not for the ship, but for her. That evening, back in the workshop, Iria looked at the race medal. It was simple, but it meant everything. "I've never felt this proud before," she said. "You earned it," Callan said. "Every step, every wire, every flight." Iria smiled. "I want to build more." Callan nodded. "Then let's get started." In a corner of the station, two builders, one human, one alien, had created something no one expected. A machine. Built from broken parts. A future built from courage. And a dream that was ready to fly again. After the race, everything changed. People on the space station had seen something they didn't expect: a Terriani girl flying a human-made ship with skill and courage. Some still didn't say anything. Others still looked away. But many had started to whisper something different now. "She flew like a real pilot. She's more than what they say. Maybe she's not broken after all." Iria heard some of it. She didn't know how to feel. Back in the workshop, the Silver Light sat on the work table. Its wings had a few scrapes. The engine needed tuning, but it was still strong. Callan looked at Iria. "I've never seen flying like that. You controlled every move." "I felt like I was back home," she said softly. "Like I was free again." Callan handed her a small cloth. "Let's get it ready again." "Why?" she asked. "Because the next race is bigger. It's called the Sky Trial." The Sky Trial was not just any race. It was the grand test of engineers and pilots. Only the top 3 from the last challenge were invited. Callan and Iria had placed third, so they were in. It was a long-distance race across the outer layer of the station. Pilots had to fly through tight turns, magnetic fields, and dangerous wind tunnels. Some ships had crashed in past races. Some pilots had given up halfway, but Iria didn't feel fear. She felt ready. The days before the race were busy. Iria and Callan upgraded Silver Light. They changed the engine core, added new wing stabilizers, and improved the balance system. Iria even designed a new control chip to help the ship react faster. Each night, we trained in the old loading zone, testing speed, turns, and landing. "You move like you're part of the ship," Callan said one evening. "I don't want To fly it, Iria replied. I want to become it. Race day came quickly. The viewing area was packed with traders, engineers, and mechanics from all over the station. Giant screens showed the racers and their ships. The announcer called out each name loudly. In lane 5, the voice said, from Orderia Dynamics, the Silver Light. Some clapped. Others watched silently. Iria stood near her ship, wearing a simple flight jacket. Callan stood behind her, adjusting the control pad. You ready? He asked. Iria nodded. Let's show them who we are. The race started with a loud countdown. 3, 2, 1, go. All 6 ships launched into the air at once. Silverlight sped forward, wings stretched wide like a bird. Iria's hands moved quickly across the controls. Her eyes scanned every direction. The first turn came fast. She curved through it like wind through a tunnel. The screen above showed her name rising 3rd place, then 2nd. She's fast. The announcer shouted, Warderia ship is moving like lightning. The hardest part of the race was the wind tunnel, long metal tube, with spinning air traps and narrow walls. One wrong move, and the ship would bounce or crash. 2 ships had already failed. Iria closed her eyes for a second before entering. Steady. She whispered. She flew into the tunnel with perfect timing. The silver light shook, but Iria kept it under control. She leaned slightly, tilted the wings, passed through the spinning traps like a dance. People watching stood up in shock. She made it through. Now she was in 1st place, but another ship, a black one called Shadow Hawk, was close behind. Its pilot was skilled and he didn't like losing. The final stretch was near. It was a sharp dive through 3 glowing hoops, then a full speed dash to the finish. Suddenly, Shadowhawk pushed too close. Its wing touched Silverlight's tail. A spark flashed. Iria's ship shook hard. The crowd gasped. She's losing balance. But Iria didn't panic. Her hands moved fast. She turned the ship slightly, used the balance system she designed, and recovered in seconds. Then she pushed forward. The silver light passed through the final hoop hand, crossed the finish line. First, the crowd went silent for a moment. Then came a wave of claps, cheers, and shouts. She won. That was amazing. She saved the ship like a true pilot. Iria stepped out of the ship. Her legs were shaking not from fear, but from excitement. Callan ran to her, smiling wide. You did it? Iria smiled too. We did it. After the race, the station. Board invited Iria and Callan to the main hall. An older human man with a silver beard, wearing a captain's uniform, stepped forward. You showed skill, bravery, and control, he said. This award is for you. He handed Iria a silver medal with a blue star on it, the Sky Medal of Excellence. Iria looked at it quietly. Her hands held it gently. This isn't just for flying, the man said. It's for proving yourself in front of the whole station. Later in the workshop, Iria placed the medal on the wall, right above her old sign, the one that once read, "Will work for prosthetic leg." She had left it there to remind herself. Callan looked at the medal, then at her. You know, he said, they used to look at you like a broken girl. Iria nodded. Now they look at me like a pilot. No, Callan smiled. Now they look at you like a hero. Outside, stars glowed in the quiet sky, but inside the workshop, something brighter was shining. A dream, a friendship, and the spirit of a girl who once had nothing, but now had wings. Weeks passed after the sky trial. Iria's name was now known across the station. Not as a broken alien girl, not as a war orphan, but as a skilled pilot, a smart builder, someone who had earned her place through hard work and heart. But fame didn't change her. Every morning she'd still clean the workshop. She'd still helped Callan with tools. And she still worked on new machines, just as before. She hadn't forgotten where she came from. One quiet morning, a soft knock came at the workshop door. Callan opened it and saw a tall woman in a white coat. She looked official and calm. Her badge said, Aerolite Engineering Academy Galactic Division. I'm looking for Iria, she said. Callan turned and called Arya. Someone's here for you? Arya came forward, her steps confident with her silver leg. The woman gave a warm smile. I saw your race, she said. You have rare talent. Arya nodded politely. Thank you. We'd like to offer you a full scholarship at our Flight and Design Academy, the woman said. We'll train you to become a starship pilot and chief engineer.
Oh.
It's fully paid. Arya was silent for a moment. She looked at Callan. He didn't say anything, just smiled proudly. Then Arya turned back to the woman and said softly, Thank you, but not yet. That evening, Arya and Callan sat on the roof, watching the stars. The space station spun slowly under the night sky. Why did you say no? Callan asked. I want to build more, Arya said. With you. Right here, Callan looked at her. Are you sure? It's a big chance. She nodded. They offered me a path, but you gave me my first step, so they stayed. Together, they turned the small workshop into something greater. They gave it a new name, Starwalk Mechanics. At first, only a few customers came, but slowly, people started visiting. Humans, aliens, even a few who once looked down on Arya. Now they came with questions, broken machines, and offers of work. Arya treated each one with kindness, even those who once doubted her. One day a little alien girl came with her father. The girl had a missing arm. She hid behind her parent, afraid. Arya knelt down and smiled. What's your name, Luma? The girl whispered. Do you want to build something, Luma? The girl nodded shyly. Arya handed her a small kit of parts. Then let's build it together. That was the start of something new. Starwalk Mechanics became more than a repair shop. It became a place of learning and hope. They started small classes, free for anyone who wanted to learn. Young people came from all around the station. Some were poor, some were disabled. Some were just curious, but they all came to learn from Arya and Callan. They built drones, fixed bikes. They created small robots, and they laughed. The sound of learning and friendship filled the air. One night, Callan brought out a small cake. What's this for? Arya asked. It's been 1 year since you walked into my life, he said. 1 year since I saw a girl with a sign? Arya smiled. And 1 year since a strange human believed in a stranger. They shared the cake, laughing as they remembered the broken window, the old drone. And the race.Eriya touched the metal hanging on the wall. I didn't win just a race, she said. I won a life. More time passed. Starwalk Mechanics grew. Larger. They opened a second room, then a third. Other builders came to join their team. Some were human. Some were alien. All were treated equally. Arya designed new Skyrunners better than Silverlight, but she always kept the original ship. Hanging above the front desk like a memory, Callan built machines that helped farmers on dry planets. He said they were small, boring projects, but Arya knew they were important. They were changing lives quietly, just like Callan had changed hers. One morning, Arya received another letter. It was from the Galactic Peace Council. They were offering her the role of flight tech advisor for a new mission building piece. Drones for border zones. Callan looked at the letter and smiled. You should go this time. Arya thought for a moment. Then she said, Only if you come too. So they left the station for a while, helping build new drones that watched over old war areas, keeping the skies safe for everyone, human and alien. Arya stood on the edge of a green field one day, watching her new design fly across a peaceful sky. No weapons, she whispered. Just eyes to protect. A young child ran up to her and said, Are you the pilot who used to have no leg? Arya smiled. Yes, but now I have wings. Back at Starwalk Mechanics, the old sign still hung near the door. The same one Arya had written long ago, Will work for prosthetic leg. Now it had a new line beneath it. Now building futures for all. And so the broken alien girl, who once sat alone in the market, was no longer broken. She was a builder, a pilot, a teacher, a symbol of what kindness, courage, and second chances could do. And the human who helped her, he'd found something just as rare, not just a partner, but a friend for life.